السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh, and good morning to each and everyone, or a good day to each and everyone. I am Yasun Urjana Binal. I'm the one who report this topic, Chapter 10, Managerial Decision Making, Chapter 10.5, Implementing Decisions, Chapter 10.6, Decisions Making Environment, Chapter 10.7 Management Decision Making Techniques, Chapter 10.8 Effective Decision Making. Managerial decision making, the foundation of organizational functioning. Managerial decision making serves as the life force of any organization, guiding its trajectory, molding its strategies, and ultimately dictating its triumph. It embodies the process through which managers scrutinize scenarios, assess alternatives, and make determinations that shape the organization's future. Despite its apparent simplicity, effective managerial decision-making is an intimate and multifaceted endeavor that necessitates a fusion of an acumen, strategic cogitation, and a profound grasp of organization's sub-objectives, resources, and stakeholders. Chapter 10.5 Implementing Decisions. Introduction. Managerial decision-making stands as a vital component of organizational triumph, involving problem identification, option assessment, and optimal course selection. Nonetheless, decision-making transcends mere choice to encompasses its proficient execution. This report delves into the pivotal phase of decision implementation, accentuating its significance, hurdles, and tactics for achieving success. The significance of decision implementation. Decision implementation signifies the conduit linking strategic scheming to palpable results. Its metamorphosis abstract concepts into actionable steps, effectuating the desired transformations within an organization. Devoid of efficient implementation, even the most pondered decisions may falter in intended outcomes. Here's why implementation holds paramount importance. Number 1. Strategy translation. Implementation transmutes strategic blueprints into operational actualization, harmonizing resources, processes, and personnel to propel organizational objectives. Accountability assurance. Decision implementation necessitates discernible roles and responsibilities, fostering accountability and ensuring individuals are answerable for their deeds. Momentum cultivation. Successful implementation cultivates momentum and assurance, showcasing the organization's adeptness in executing plans and propelling advancement. Resistance mitigation. Effective implementation strategies can curtail resistance to change by involving stakeholders, articulating transparently, and furnishing support through the process. Here is the challenges in implementing decisions. Number 1, clarity deficiency. Unclear or ambiguously framed decisions can spawn confusion and misinterpretations impeding effective implementation. Change resistance. Individuals may resist alteration that impinge on their comfort zones, routines, or perceived authority. Resource insufficiency. Inadequate resource provision encompassing financial backing, personnel, or technology can impede implementation progression. Communication flaws. Inept communication can breed misconceptions, missed deadlines, and stakeholders' reluctance. Leadership lacks. Feeble leadership can undermine implementation rigor, engendering directional vagueness, motivation diminishment, and accountability deficiency. So here is the strategy for effective implementation. To surmount these hurdles and ensure fruitful implementations, manager can deploy diverse strategies such as communication clarity, stakeholders engagement, resource provisioning, monitoring and evaluation, and leadership and support. So here is the conclusion. Effective decision implementation entails an incessant process demanding a comprehensive approach. It encompasses meticulous planning, transparent communication, stakeholder involvement, resource allocation, monitoring, and robust leadership. By championing this ethos, managers can translate strategic decisions into tangible outcomes, propelling organizational advancement and attaining envisioned objectives. Here also the summary. This disseminated report underscored the critical role of decision implementation in managerial decision making. Heightened significance was accorded to the challenges inherent in the implementation process alongside strategies for surmounting such impediments. By recognizing the vital role of implementation and embracing a holistic strategy, managers can ensure their decisions yield substantial and enduring organizational shifts. Chapter 10.6 Decision-Making Environment. Introduction. Managerial decision-making stands as a cornerstone of organizational triumph, encompassing problem identification, option evaluation, and optimal decision selections. Nevertheless, the efficacy of decision-making is substantially sculpted by the milieu in which it unfolds. This report ventures into the intricate and fluid essence of the decision-making environment, scrutinizing the diverse factors that mold managerial choices and ultimately sway organizational outcomes. Deciphering the decision-making environment. Here is the internal factors: organizational culture, organizational structure, resources, and also the internal dynamics. So here is also the external factors: economic milieu, competitive scenario, technological progression, and social political dynamics. The dynamic essence of the decision-making environment. The decision-making environment springs forth as a ceaselessly evolving entity, technological strides, economic shifts, and societal value reconsideration can foster novel challenges and prospects of organizations. Managers mandatorily must be adaptable, vigilantly monitoring the environment and tweaking decisions in consonance. So here is the implication for effective decision making. Comprehending the decision making environment is intrinsic to sculpting effective managerial decisions through cogitating on the internal and external factors cascading on their decisions. Manager can spot opportunities, identifying avenues for expansions and innovation through a comprehension of evolving consumer requisites, competitive milieu, and emergent tech drifts. Risk elevation. By parsing through potential threats like economic downturns, statutory variations, or technological upheavals, managers can preempt risks and safeguard organizational interest. Goal alignment. Ensuring decisions gravitate in sync with the organization's over, overarching aims and objectives via internal factors considerations like organizational customs, framework, and resources. Consensus building and backing. By involving stakeholders and articulating transparently, managers can need consensus and backing for decisions, curtailing resistance to change, and nurturing a collaborative atmosphere. So here is the conclusion in the chapter 10.6, decision-making environment. The decision-making environment unfolds as a labyrinthine and fluid construct that profoundly shape managerial choices. By grasping the internal and external forces underpinning their decisions, managers can spawn well-informed strategic decisions that sync with organizational aspiration and augur success. Effective decision-making mandates not just analytical adeptness, but also in-depth deep comprehension of the backdrop dictating those decisions. In summary, this report sought to unravel the decision-making environment, accentuating the diverse internal and external determinants framing managerial decisions. It underscored the mercurial characteristic of this environment and the essence of context consideration in steering effective decisions. Through perceiving the decision-making environment, managers can unearth opportunities, temper risks, align decisions with organizational objectives, and foster consensus and backing for their initiatives. Chapter 10.7 Management Decisions Making Techniques. Introduction. At the essence of organizational greatness lies managerial decision making, steering its course, sculpting strategies, and delineating the path to triumph, while the bedrock principles of problem identification, option assessments, and optimal decision selection hold steadfast. The efficacy of decision making varies significantly or the techniques employed. This report embarks on an exploration of diverse management decision-making techniques, illuminating their strengths, constraints, and adaptability in different scenarios. The significance of decision-making techniques. Decision-making techniques furnish a structured scaffold for navigating intricate problems, fostering a holistic consideration of all pertinent factors, a systematic weighing of options, and an informed choice culmination. These techniques play a pivotal role in number 1, mitigating bias, number 2, fostering consistency, number 3, cultivating collaboration, number 4, enhancing accountability. Common decision-making techniques. So here is the common decision-making techniques. Number one is the cost-benefit analysis. Number two is the decision tree analysis, SWOT or SWOT analysis, Pareto analysis, force field analysis, Delphi technique, and also the brainstorming. Cost-benefit analysis. This technique juxtaposes the costs and benefits of each option, typically in monetary terms, offering invaluable insight for investment decisions or resource distribution evaluation. Decision tree analysis is utilizing a branching diagram. This technique visualizes potential outcomes of varied decisions, aligning them with respective probabilities and payoffs, ideal for scenarios permitted with decision nodes and uncertain outcomes. SWOT analysis by pinpointing the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats encountered by an organization. This technique equips managers with a deeper comprehension of internal and external factors influencing decisions. Pareto analysis, also known as the 80 to 20 rule, 80 over 20 rule. It accentuates identifying the most pivotal factors affecting a problem, aiding in resource prioritization, and effective allocation. Force field analysis. This technique identifies supportive and opposing forces to propose changes, aiding in comprehending implementation hurdles and strategizing to surmount them. Delphi technique involving expert opinions amassed anonymously on a specific topic. This technique curbs bias and fosters consensus on complex issues. Brainstorming, encouraging an outpouring of ideas in an unrestrained, and creative milieu. This technique fuels problem solutions identification and innovation stimulation. So here is the choosing the right technique. The selection of decision-making techniques hinges on problem nature, uncertainty levels, resource availability, and temporal constraint. For instance, a cost-benefit analysis may prove apt for financial investment decisions, whereas a decision tree analysis may suit strategic planning scenarios more effectively. Limitations of decision-making techniques. Number one is oversimplification. Number two is data dependence. Number three is time and resource constraint. Number four is creative constraints. Oversimplification. Techniques at times overly simplify complex issues, narrowing focus and glossing over critical facets. Data dependence. Several techniques rely on data, which may not be always promptly accessible or entirely accurate. Time and resource constraints. Certain techniques may prove time-intensive and resource exhaustive, rendering them impracticable for swift decisions. Creative constraints. Techniques may at times impose constraints on creative and innovation by enforcing a rigid framework. So here is the conclusion. Management decision-making techniques impart a valuable ground for navigating convoluted problems and steering informed choices. By discerning the strengths and limitations of divergent techniques, managers can cherry-pick the most fitting tools for each scenario. Treading the path of effective decision-making mandates a harmonious amalgamation of technique, rigor, and the malleability and intuition of human discernment. So in summary, this report has unfolded an array of management decision-making techniques, accentuating their merits and constraints. It has underscored the essence of appropriate technique selection for each scenario and the demand for balancing technique application with shrewd judgment and experience. Through an embrace of a methodical approach to decision making, managers can augment the caliber of their choices, elevate organizational efficacy, and propel success. Chapter 10.8 Effective Decision Making. Introduction. At the core of organizational triumph resides managerial decision making, guiding the trajectory of success through problem identification, option evaluations, and the selection of optimal pathways. However, the art of making effective decisions that yield positive outcomes transcends mere systematic procedures. It requires a mosaic of analytical prowess, strategic cogitation, and a profound comprehension of the organization's objectives, resources, and stakeholders. This report embarks on a journey to unravel the foundational components of effective decision-making, shedding light on the factors that underpin sound judgments and the strategies that can elevate the decision-making process. The essence of effective decision-making. Effective decision-making unfolds as a dynamic interplay of pivotal elements encompassing clear objectives, information gathering and analysis, option generation and evaluation, stakeholders engagement, decision implementing, and continuous learning and improvement. So here is the strategy to elevate decision making you can use in the near future. Embrace a systematic approach. Embracing a structured decision-making blueprint assures the holistic contemplation of all pertinent facets, facilitating choices by logical and coherent throughout process. Seek diverse perspectives. Involving individuals with diverse backgrounds, experiences, and outlooks expands the horizons of considered options, fostering the genesis of creative and robust solutions. Utilize decision-making tools. Various tools, many tools and techniques such as cost-benefit analysis, decision trees, and SWOT analysis can expedite option evaluations, risk identification, and informed choice making. Foster a culture of open communication. Cultivating an ambience where individuals feel at ease sharing their notions, apprehensions, and perspectives is elemental for effective decision making. Encourage experimentation and learning. Organizations should nurture an experimental ethos, enabling managers to experiment with fresh ideas, learn from missteps, and cultivate continual augmentation of their decision acumen. Chapter 10.7 Managerial Making Techniques. Conclusion. Effective decision making isn't merely a destination but a never-ending odyssey of continuous enhancement. By embracing a methodical approach, seeking diverse perspectives, leveraging appropriate tools, and nurturing a culture of candid communication and learning, managers can usher forth informed selections that steer organizational triumph. The crux of effective decision-making lies in comprehending its continual evolution as a process integrating adaptability, critical acumen, and a dedication to perpetual learning and amelioration. So in summary, this report has entangled the fundamental facets of effective decision-making, accentuating the criticality of clear objectives, information gathering and analysis, option generation and evaluation, stakeholders engagement, decision implementation, and perpetual learning. It has also delineated strategies for fortifying the decision-making fabric, like embracing a systematic approach, seeking diverse perspectives, maximizing decision-making tools, fostering open communication, and nudging experimentation and learning. By embracing these tenets, managers can steer informed decisions, propelling organizational success and materializing aspired outcomes. So that's all for today. If you have any questions to my topic, feel free to contact me to my Facebook account or to my messenger, Yasser Abinal, or to my contact number or to my Gmail address, nakamut at gmail.com. That is my email address, or you can contact me uh, on that tree that you can see on the PowerPoint. So if you don't have any questions, thank you for listening, and assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.